We are witnessing a global crisis where the smartest software on Earth is being held hostage by the low-tech steel and silicon mines of the East. How can the West claim technological supremacy when their god-tier algorithms are currently suffocating under the weight of a physical supply chain they cannot control?
Imagine a world where the smartest software on the planet doesn't just answer questions, it runs entire global systems. That's the reality of Silicon Valley in 2026. Large action models, the next evolution beyond chatbots, are now autonomously managing logistics across continents and even manipulating financial markets with a precision no human could match. This isn't science fiction. It's software-defined sovereignty. Code is no longer just a tool. It's a ruler. It shapes the flow of information, influences culture, and even determines what people see and believe. Entire industries bend to the logic of algorithms, while traditional decision-making takes a back seat. But there's a catch. As powerful as these digital brains are, they can't exist in a vacuum. Every line of code, every prediction, every autonomous decision ultimately needs a physical backbone. Servers, chips, sensors. Without them, even the most advanced algorithm is just potential, trapped in the cloud. The West leads the world in digital intelligence, but that lead now faces a wall. Virtual supremacy demands a physical manifestation, and the question is, can Silicon Valley's ethereal edge overcome the tangible forces of the real world, or will brilliance alone no longer be enough? By the end of this segment, you'll see why the future of technology isn't just written in code, it's built with steel, silicon, and strategy.
Across the globe, while Silicon Valley crafts code that can predict markets and automate cities, the East is quietly building the backbone that makes all of it possible. In 2026, Beijing has complete control over the hardware stack, from refining rare earth minerals to assembling high-end robotics that power factories and supply chains worldwide. This isn't just manufacturing, it's a strategic transformation. The East has shifted from being the world's workshop to becoming the automated custodian of critical infrastructure. They don't just make the chips and machines, they own the gates that every piece of technology must pass through. Control over atoms, not just bits, creates a chokehold. Even the most sophisticated algorithms are powerless without access to the physical components they need to function. A server without chips is just a box. A drone without sensors is blind. And in this new world, who controls the physical supply chain controls the rules of engagement. The West might have the brains, but the East holds the muscles. And in the race for technological supremacy, strength is measured in more than code. It's measured in steel, silicon, and the ability to dictate what gets built, when, and where.
Even the smartest algorithms hit a wall when they meet cold, unyielding steel. Western AI can predict markets, optimize logistics, and run entire networks, but only if it can access the hardware it needs. When chips are embargoed or sensors withheld, even god-tier software is left powerless, staring at problems it cannot solve. Take the 2026 chip embargoes, for example. Advanced AI systems were starved of the physical tools they rely on to perceive and interact with the world. No matter how brilliant the code, without the ability to sense, process, and act, digital supremacy falters. These aren't just delays. They're a hard reminder that software cannot exist independently of the real world. Power is shifting. Intellectual property used to be the ultimate currency. Today, it's industrial output that dictates who can play the game and who's forced to watch from the sidelines. In the race for total system autonomy, owning factories, energy, and supply chains is becoming more critical than owning the algorithms themselves. The future of technological dominance is no longer just written in code, it's forged in steel. In 2026, the race for technological supremacy has entered a new phase, the scramble for sovereign compute. Nations are realizing that having brilliant software is meaningless without a domestic hardware base. Enter the era of fortress factories, highly secure, fully automated production hubs designed to ensure that critical technology never leaves national control. Energy has become the ultimate bridge between digital power and physical dominance. Whoever controls the power grids, battery production, and fuel sources effectively decides who can run their machines and who can't. Software may plan the future, but without energy and materials, it can't bring those plans to life. The world is splitting into two types of powers, those who program the future and those who physically build it. One controls the code, the other controls the machinery, and the tension between these two forces is shaping every industry, every market, and even the global balance of power. In this new landscape, sovereignty isn't just about borders. It's about who can keep their software alive,
productive, and independent in a world where physical control matters just as much as digital intelligence. The ultimate question for 2026. Who will win? The master of the virtual ghost or the ruler of the industrial machine? This isn't just a battle of ideas. It's a war of execution. Code alone won't secure supremacy. Control over factories, chips, and supply chains will decide who truly shapes the future. For viewers, this clash of titans affects more than just tech headlines. It determines the cost of living, access to devices, and which nations and companies will dominate the markets for decades to come. Understanding this game isn't optional, it's essential. The takeaway is clear. Raw industrial power is the final frontier in the quest for lasting technological supremacy. Those who master both code and physical infrastructure will define the rules of the 21st century. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand how this battle shapes your world, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The future is being built now, and you don't want to be left out of the loop.